You can stop people from abandoning you, isolating you, neglecting you, is that you get to stop abandoning, isolating, and neglecting yourself. That's the only way. That is the only way. That is the only way. Because with that statement alone, that is empowering you for you to see that if you are the center of your own universe, if at the core of who you are, all your particles, you know, all your systems, your heart, your brain, this body, this vessel that is literally housing your soul, anyone that wants to go in and out of your life, as long as you are connected to that inner soul, that inner part of you, the God within, that energy within you, like yourself, your true self, not the ego self, right? No one can really make you feel abandoned or isolated, all right? And I know it sounds really hard to hear because it does two things. One, it points the finger back at you because perhaps me even saying that you feel like you're doing something wrong, but you're not doing anything wrong. And there's different levels to this, right? There's different spectrums. It's one spectrum, but there's different placements on this spectrum. And what it is that I feel like even me in my past life, it's not that I want to be abandoned, I want to be isolated, I want to be neglected. And a lot of those lessons I had to learn from romantic relationships. Like I could have literally remember maybe like two relationships that were pretty healthy in my life. Before that or during that and even after that, it has been nothing but a repetitive cycle of constant getting into a relationship, thinking it's going to be good. Everyone is in agreement. You want to do this. I want to do this. We want to do it together. Let's do it. And then ghosts, triggering an abandoned wound, triggering an isolation wound, triggering feeling neglected. Now all of a sudden you don't feel good enough. Something is wrong. And what's worse is that, a lot of people, they don't even have the decency to even communicate with you and let you know what's going on, right? But that's because they have their own insecurities. They have their own shortcomings. And to be honest, some people know that maybe sometimes they weren't even worth being in your presence in the first place. But because you abandon yourself and you put them on a pedestal, they're going to take that and run with it. So it does two things. It points the finger at you to let you know, hey, you're doing this to yourself. And as hard as it is to take in, trust me, trust me, I know. It's almost like that's one of the things that actually really helped me to like sit with that and to really be aware of what was going on. Now, a lot of my relationships, romantic relationships, it was always like, I'm going to tell you straight up. I kind of felt like I was in a curse, okay? Because it would be the same energy, slightly different, but very similar energy, but different body. Somebody will come in, they'll love bomb, right? Which is a red flag, which I didn't learn about until later, thanks to YouTube and everybody else who's a mental health expert on YouTube. And the real mental health experts and just people who are experienced experts, right? Because a lot of us could learn from experienced expert. Life taught me, right? It's not that I wasn't loving. It's not that I came in with an agenda. It's not that I was trying to manipulate or use somebody for money, for clout, for fame, for whatever people are doing nowadays. It was just the other end of it, which is I wasn't taking accountability for myself. I wasn't being there for me. I was abandoning myself. I was isolating myself. I always had this thing. I could do great things with a partner. And I guess we could blame TV for that growing up. We could blame a lot of things for that, right? We could blame our environment for that. We could blame what we saw, what we consumed for that. We could blame the patriarchal system that we've been in for that. We could blame a lot of things, right? But when you get to a certain level of you're just fed up, now you get to take accountability for yourself and you get to pause and see what's really going on. I'm sure on the outside, from other people's perspective, they possibly was looking like I was crazy. I would go in one relationship, I would come out, go in another relationship, it would be over. The next relationship, and it would be the same thing where you felt abandoned, you felt isolated, you felt disrespected, you felt neglected. And some people say, well, what's wrong with you? Right? So the two things it's going to do is either going to point the finger at you where you have to take accountability, right? And or you could actually use that as an empowerment tool so you could break away from what's been going on. And for me, it wasn't, like I said, that I was doing anything negative, nefarious, or anything like that. It was just that I was giving too much. I was putting somebody else higher than I was putting myself, right? I would think, oh, this person has this and they're doing this and they have that and they think like this, then, they must be doing something right. And you have to sit down with yourself and come up with some reasons to why you would put someone else ahead of you, above you, or even just on a higher plane, like they doing something better than you. I used to always say a lot of people are lifing better than I'm lifing, or doing human better than I'm doing human. Now I just embrace who I am. However, I used to say that. And that's maybe something you used to say too, but I don't want you to feel less than. I don't want you to feel that you're different. You're an outcast, because to be honest, there's power in being an outcast. There's power in being different, because that just means that you're a leader. That just means that you've been placed in this environment, in these circumstances, in this story that perhaps you don't like, right? To shift it, to change it, right? Or to be the first person to start to change it, to change the mindset of those around you that participated in those contracts. It's not going to be easy, but if you're the one that's going through it, I'm pretty sure it's because you can handle it. Pretty sure. Through a lot of that. When it comes to in and out of relationships, I almost felt like I was worthless. I felt like I was less than. I had nothing to offer. I even had someone tell me I had nothing to offer. But then when I consider, the person that they were interested in that was far away from them, right? Or the person that they want to date or whatever they're considering that's far away from them, they're far away because they could get away with cheating. Maybe they're looking for people that have houses and cars because then they'll be able to live in them. They'll be able to use them. They'll be able to, have something to offer. That's what that means sometimes. Not necessarily. I'm not generalizing here. But in my case, that's one of the reasons, And usually that's what it was always, actually. Somebody else has more, looks better, has money, has more than you. So I'm going to choose that as the better option. But that really has nothing to do with you. You must really think about it. Like, what kind of person would actually think like that, right? But it doesn't even matter. What matters is you taking accountability for yourself. Because this video is about us. It's about you. It's about you taking accountability for yourself and you loving on yourself so you can stop getting abandoned or isolated or feeling like that, either from work, from your family, from a loved ones, from friends. I've had friends that come in and out, partners that come in and out, and that could really make you feel like over time, it'll take a really deep hit in your self-confidence. What are some things, if you could get really serious with yourself, just really ask yourself, what are some things that I love about myself? What are some things that I can do for myself? Because the truth is, if you don't go deep within yourself, if you really don't move away, either literally or just emotionally and mentally, and start focusing on yourself, like radical self-love, it's going to be very challenging for you to break that cycle. It's going to be very challenging. And I couldn't believe that it was something wrong with me. Somebody else will come in and it'll be the same thing. Somebody else will come in and and I'm like, man, the last situation that I was in, I didn't even have to go in that. I was already in the state of I need to clock out so I could clock in, right? But for some reason, I was like, let me try, because I have a heart where I'm willing to never give up on myself. I know what I want. I know what I've always wanted from a child: marriage, children, successful business, happy family, adventure, to teach, to heal myself, to realize myself. And I've always been big on self-development. So the way that I came into healing abandonment issues, and even continue to do so, was that I came through the theory first. I was learning about occultism and esotericism, and just learning about the power of me, the power of the I am, who I am, energy healing, universal laws. How does that affect me in the world, right? Because you could learn about the universal laws and it's just a lot of things outside of yourself. You think it's just mental and spiritual. However, mental and spiritual is what creates the physical. So of course you want to tap into that. So I had that already, but I wasn't able to ground it yet in the physical reality. So I would constantly get into a situation where somebody ghosts. I don't hear from them. Somebody else will reach out to me and tell me it's over. And it's really because, I would hear somebody next to them telling them to say that. Somebody ended up being with somebody else, and, our mutual friends, their family members, they all knew about it. So there's a lot of embarrassment and everything that comes with that. And we get to stop abandoning ourselves. We get to stop abandoning ourselves. We get to stop putting other people on the same level or even higher than us, thinking that they can do something better. We get to stop thinking that we need to partner up with people. Sometimes you got to partner up with yourself. Sometimes you got to partner up with your ancestors. You got to partner up with God first. And this is something that I know. This is something that we hear, right? These are quotes we've been hearing from young. We see this, we hear this in films, but it's just different when you have to practically implement it into your life. And you don't really see other people practically doing this. You just think, oh, everybody must have a blueprint that I just never got, right? And that could easily fall into victim mindset that we don't really ever want to be in, because it's really challenging to come out of that. As soon as you become a victim, it's everybody else's fault. But even if other people are at fault, the minute you are no longer a victim and you become the victor in your life, that whole facade and story that other people want you to live, it falls apart. It becomes non-existent. And now you have the power back in your hand to create the life that you want to live, the story that you want to tell. I've had it's crazy, because it can really drive you crazy to make you think that you are worth nothing, right? It's just a constant hit. And then the more that I realize, the more that I study, this is all an energy game. This is an emotional game. This is how can I trigger your emotions for you to vibrate at a lower frequency, at a lower energy, so that you could never rise back up again? How could I affect you? How could I affect your root chakra, your stability, your money, your self-confidence, the relationships with others, how other people see you, right? I've been the butt of gossip, okay? Everybody saying something. Not everybody, I don't want to generalize. A few people, friends, family, whatever, saying whatever. And the thing about gossip, a lot of people don't realize it's also spell work, which I think I'm going to do a separate video on. And that's what creates this deep, dark energy that is on you that you just don't know where it's coming from. And it's challenging to talk about. But people just forget that everything is energy, especially our tongue, our words, what it is that we're spewing out into the universe, especially if you have specific, unique powers that you're ashamed to show and share and express. Maybe you're just unaware of what it is, or maybe you're just a little bit scared, or you're anxious about it, and you don't want anyone to know. You could feel certain energies, you could hear certain energies, and now there's a whole bunch of things going on top of that, and you feel abandoned, you feel isolated. It can't be easy, I know. But when you sit down with yourself and you tell yourself, I'm here with you, I love you regardless of what you've been through, what other people's ideologies and perspective of you, whatever the hell they want to say, is not true. And it doesn't define you. It doesn't define you today, and it will not define you tomorrow. Nor did it define you in the past. What defines you is how you show up for yourself. Today is a new day. Today you get to be present. Today you get to pour into yourself. Because feeling abandoned or isolated is never really a good thing. Because then you really have to look at how are you treating yourself? How are you showing up for yourself? A lot of the things that I wasn't doing that you may want to start speaking up for yourself. If you don't like something, say no. If you don't want to do something, say no. If you want to go somewhere and and the time comes and you change your mind, say no. You may want to provide context, or you may want to, find a way to even communicate with someone clearly of what exactly that you're feeling, what's going on. But you should never do anything that you don't want to do. You should never go anywhere you don't want to go. I've had friends that wanted to come around me just to see what I'm doing, because at the time I was creating a lot. I had a fitness business. I was creating workbooks. I wrote a book. I did a lot of things, and some of them just wanted to come around to see what I was doing so they could start to do it too, right? Some of them, they just wanted to come and kind of like just be a part of your life because they're intrigued. They also don't want you to get ahead, so they're gonna affect you emotionally, right? Abandonment and isolation is it's a scary tool. It's a successful tool if done right, to the right person, at least the person with the wrong mindset at the time. And I was always ready and easily able to just leave a situation. Somebody show me who they are, I'm gone. You cheat, you ghost, you lie, you don't communicate after I'm telling you I'm trying. And those are a lot of things that you haven't learned, right? To speak up for yourself. You don't say anything, you think it's going to change. It doesn't change because you have to say something. And if you keep saying something after twice or three times and they ignore it, then you know it's time to cut it off. These are the things that you could start to do. You want to set boundaries, which was something I wasn't doing. I had no boundaries, none. I didn't even know what boundaries were. I didn't know how to even implement boundaries without sounding like a witch, a bitch, really, right? I didn't even know. I didn't have the practical tools. No one taught me. This wasn't something that I saw. I grew up being a people pleaser, so perhaps that was the same thing for you, where I would get love based on what I did. So that's where some of that abandonment repetitiveness will show up in my relationship, because I'm giving love because I know I'm going to get it back in return. I'm doing this because I know I'm going to get it back in return. Not necessarily to get it back in return, but really just to be genuinely a giver, because I used to be that way to anyone, because I know it's going to come back to me, and it doesn't have to come back to me from that person, but I just want to give because I love to give. It makes me feel good, right? I love to partner up with someone. I love to build them up, whatever they're working on in their business, in their life, in their health. I always find recipes or a new herb or something, or some type of herb concoction. I may do it for them. I may cook and share because I just genuinely want to do it. And I'm already thinking we're in this together, right? No. They're in this for themselves, and they're in this to take everything they can from me. So then that leaves you drained. And now when you're drained, you don't even have that energy to give back to yourself. So now you're going to feel abandoned, isolated, neglected, and depressed. You can easily change that around. You start by taking a pause and just being with yourself. I speak a lot about meditation. That's one of the great ways that you can do that. You can start doing shadow work prompts. Find questions on why am I constantly feeling like I'm being abandoned. Go deeper within and see where this originated from. For me, it's been several things. And it could be several things for you too, because it could be from your adulthood, your relationships with family, friends, lovers. It could be in your adolescent, from childhood. That's one of the examples for me that I could first remember, when I was in Haiti at 4 years old, my mother and my sister, they had to go to the States before me. They couldn't take me. I believe there was some paperwork that was messed up or that wasn't completed by my father or something like that. So she couldn't take me at the same time. She's doing what she has to do so she could change and put us in a better environment to give us an opportunity, right? And she busts her behind. My mother busts her behind to be able to do that. However, as a 4-year-old, I'm not realizing that. And I always say the first 7 years of a child's life is the most important, because those are when the first 7 chakras are being molded. So at 4, heart chakra, abandonment. That may be something for you too. That's something that I put together for myself. So now every 4th chakra year, or every time I get into some type of relationship, there's like fear of abandonment there. And then whatever you focus on grows, right? Wherever attention flows, energy flows, right? I keep saying this wrong. Wherever the attention goes, energy flows, right? So if that's what you're focusing on, that's what you keep recreating. And now you're putting yourself in a loop, going in and out of a relationship, in and out of a friendship, and you're just never satisfied. You're always getting the same thing over and over again. So when you could get yourself out of that loop by asking the deeper questions, the uncomfortable questions, and you figure out where they come from, and you really look at the bigger picture. Was this done purposefully? What did I do? You didn't do anything wrong. You just had an experience that perhaps was there to help your soul evolution throughout the next few years of your life, but you didn't see it as that. You're young. You can't even interpret it as that. But it was only to make you stronger. It was only for you to take an opportunity to look at yourself, right? What are the things that you love to do? Start doing that. Stop abandoning yourself. What is your body telling you? You have something, you ate something, you drank something, it doesn't feel good. Listen to your body. Maybe you want to stop consuming that. What are you watching? What are you listening to? What feels good to you? Maybe you like to go to the beach and everybody else like to party. That's fine. Honor yourself. You can still go out here and there, but when it's time to go, honor yourself. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. If you don't like something, speak up for yourself. A lot of these things you're not taught. I wasn't taught. And I had to go through a life of many years, over a decade, to learn a lot of tough lessons for the same repetitive relationship mistake that would lead to isolation or abandonment or neglect. And it's so funny because these people know what they're doing and some of them don't. Some of them is just, I'm telling you, it's just the same energy, a different body. So the energy is just jumping from body to body. And you think it's something wrong with you, but it's literally the same energy that's coming after you. But when you seal up those holes in your auric field, that is showing up as you need to be fulfilled by something or someone other than yourself in some way, either consciously or unconsciously, they will no longer be able to attack you because you'll be vibrating at such a pure energy. You'll be focused on your mission. They won't even be able to get in. You'll be able to see the red flags. You'll be able to see the limited beliefs within yourself and catch it. You'll see, now I used to do that before, I'm not doing that again. You possibly giving a lot of people the benefit of the doubt and then you would regret it later. You possibly would think, oh, well, maybe they're doing this, they're doing that, start making excuses for them, and then you regret it later. Trust your intuition. Trust trust your intuition. And one of the greatest intuition practices that I've done, besides meditation, which is always going to be the number one, right? Is focusing. Like, there's a focusing exercise that you can do where you could just focus one dot on the wall and kind of like focus until it splits into two. This really helps to stimulate your third eye. And when you can do that, you get to trust the vision and the intuitive hits that you're getting in your life so you can make the right choices and judgments for yourself. Okay. I'm just looking at some of the notes that I wrote down. You also want to release people pleasing, because if you have something in you that is telling you, in order for me to get my community, my friends, my husband, my wife, or whatever, I have to give to them, you're already off. You have to give to yourself, because that way you're showing people how to treat you by the way you're treating yourself. I didn't understand that at first. If somebody wants to leave your life and you really want to be with them, and they want to leave because, I don't know, your boundaries are there, you don't want to do certain things before a certain thing, right? Let's say you don't want to sleep with them yet. You want to get to know them. You want to get to know their habits, who they are, the people that they are around. And all of a sudden they just don't want to communicate, or they just disappear. Good. Be happy. Be proud of yourself, because that could have been one heartbreak added onto the list. Take it from me. I've had multiple back to back. And after having those multiple back to back, I'm telling you, it does take a very hard hit on you emotionally, on your self, just discipline, but also self-esteem. It really hurts you. So you have to take a lot of the time to to just give back to yourself. It's like all the time that you took to give away, you got to take that time back and give it to yourself. You got to call your energy back. And you might feel like you're lonely. You just want somebody. Just heal that part in you that feels like you need someone. Heal that part in you that feels like you'll be more powerful with someone. It could have been TV shows. I know I've watched a lot of TV shows. I've watched a lot of programming, from family, from TV, from all of that. That molded you as you got older. For me, I told you one of the things was when I was 4. That's energetical. That's something that you can't even remember. Some people, they remember trauma from like 1, right? And then not to mention past life. Because remember, we are all literally our ancestors through our bloodline. So if there has been a certain type of trauma that your family has been going through and no one has spoken about it, and it's passing down from great-grandmother to to grandmother to mother, now to you, you might want to take a look at that. You could do many things. You could do a past life regression. You could do some tarot readings. You could ask yourself deep questions. You could do hypnosis. You could find a family member that's willing to speak about it. And then also trust your intuition, because you'll get downloads, you'll get information, and you don't even know how you know that. You don't even know if it's true because you have no proof. And if you try to ask somebody, they'll be like, no. So now you're doubting your own intuition. That could have been some type of information that came to you that perhaps you just want to store and use later, or even build on to research, especially when it comes to how your life is unfolding. Abandonment is a very nasty thing. Feeling abandoned, feeling isolated is a very nasty thing, because although I'm never condoning the behavior of other people, and I'm never going to not shed light on other people's doings, the most priority thing that you can do, the only thing that you can do, the only thing you have control over is yourself. So you get to become empowered within that energy and you loving on yourself. We always hear that when you abandon yourself, it means that you don't have self-love. It has nothing to do with that. It sounds good. It sounds believable. I thought so too. But no, you love yourself. Those are the ones that resonates with this. You love yourself. You know what you deserve. You know what you always wanted. It's just that you were in the wrong environment. You were with the wrong people. You were trying with the wrong type of people that did not match your energy. And worse, you believe that they were just as good as you, or they were sharing similar energies. They wanted the same thing. You actually believe that. Call it gullible, call it naive, whatever you want to call it, and only to get hurt at the end, right? For me also, a lot of the times, those situations, those partners, they will come as if they really want to build and develop with me. I didn't even know they would be married. They would have another girl. They would have a child. Then I'll find out they have 2 children. You understand? So to guard yourself from liars and manipulators and narcissistic people and anything like that, protect your heart by showing up for yourself. When you're there for yourself, when you speak up for yourself, that's the real act of showing yourself how much you really support yourself, how much you really love yourself, and not abandoning yourself. Because now if anyone want to come in and out, you don't feel abandonment because you've always been with yourself. It's almost like when you abandon yourself to be with other people, there's a part of you that goes with them. And if they leave, they take that part with them and you don't get it back. until you do the work for yourself. So now when you have yourself and you are whole and complete within yourself, somebody could come and try to derail you or take from you or lie or whatever they're trying to do, or they're trying to come and do any type of action that's going to lead to some type of isolation, abandonment, neglect, purposefully, consciously or unconsciously. When they do that, you're still whole, you're still complete. They didn't really take anything from you. Even if they even if they were successful in taking your body, using your body, taking your things, they didn't take anything from you, because all of those things would not exist without you, and you're still intact with you. So they didn't take anything. And that's a power that you have within yourself that no one can ever take from you. So the next time you ever feel abandoned by anybody, I really want you to know that you have more power than you believe. If you're grieving someone leaving you, it's only because what you're really grieving is the aspect of you that they took with them. So now you can get that back. What have you been not doing for yourself? What have you been resisting? What are some new things that you want to do? What are some things that you used to do but you stopped because you started to engage with this person? So that's very important that I've had to learn too. Just because you get in a relationship doesn't mean you stop being yourself. Doesn't mean you stop meditating and giving to yourself. Doesn't mean you stop working on your business. Doesn't mean you stop working on your money. You're still responsible for you. So one of the biggest things I could tell you to do, besides calling back your energy or to just avoid feeling abandoned or isolated, is to be right here with you. To tell yourself, I'm here for you. I'm here with you. I'm taking care of you. I'm guiding you. I'm loving you. I'm gonna love you. Or I love you. We're gonna do this together. Me, myself, and I. That's the most powerful thing that you can do for yourself. Thank you for watching this video. Hit the like button, subscribe. If you like it and want to see more of it, let me know in the comments down below. If someone could benefit from this video, I definitely ask that you share this video as well. Other than that, until next time, I'll see you in the next video.